Wait, hold on. Wait, what's this one? This is weird.
Never happened before.
No, I've never even seen this before. Oh, wait.
No, and not live. Let me see here. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's Ocean's Pit. Tony, we're having some technical difficulties again, second day in a row here. I don't know what's going on here, but I think you can see me. I don't know. Anyway, Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things, Monday through Friday at noon. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders, everybody military, all our veterans, and all you wonderful people for watching the show. Whether you're watching it on the Tony Ocean Show Facebook page, or you're watching it on the Mo Carraro Facebook page, you're watching it on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. So we got a great show lined up for you guys today. My good buddy Mike Cherson is going to be joining us from Industrial Drive, and he's got a whole other things he's doing. So let's get ready to roll. It's Ocean's Pit, a little show. Thank you, Richie from Seventh Heaven, for that great intro, guys. It's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. It's Friday. It's Good Friday, everybody. It's Good Friday. That's right. It's April 11th, and I hope you're getting ready for Easter festivities with your families this Sunday. But I'm glad you're watching us here to end the week of Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things, guys. So much to talk about. Before we do anything, let's get right to our sponsors, our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, small engine repair, free pickup and delivery, free diagnosis fee at all tune-ups. Save $55 the whole entire month of April. Scotch mulch, lowest price of the season, only $2.99 a bag. Red, brown, black are available. And folks, let's not forget to make sure that JRC Ace Hardware stores are grilling destinations for you and your family. They have a large variety of grills on display with free assembly, delivery on all grill purchases, $3.99 or more. Check out the large selection of rubs, spices, and barbecue sauces. That's our good friends from Ace Hardware. Don't forget to grill your ace off. That's right. When you go inside any of these JRC Ace Hardware stores, tell them you want to grill your ace off and tell them Tony O sent you from Ocean's Pit. That's Ace Hardware. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. All right. So let's get right down to business. We have a lot of things going on. Want to thank everybody for showing up at Are We Live in Burr Ridge last night. Great turnout. And it's going to be my last time I'm going to be there because now they're going to stop having live entertainment on Thursdays. So it's my last year show for the year. I've got nothing to give them anyway until next year. But I want to thank my good buddy Gigi and the Capri Restaurant and everybody that showed up. It was great seeing Chicago Blackhawks legend, my good friend Dennis Savard, showing up last night with all his friends from Canada. So it was just a great night. Of course, Jerry Jams was on fire, and thank you all for showing up. And I really appreciate that very much. Now, tonight for Good Friday, we're going to see us live at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. That's an 8 o'clock hit, me and Double T, Tony Toto. Tomorrow, we'll be at the Chez Paul Hotel in Arlington Heights. And then Sunday, we back by Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy for Sinatra Sunday, and that's a 3:30 hit. For tickets, go to oshows.com. Absolutely. Oh, my God. Again, we want to thank you all. I got to just thank again Ron Onesti, everybody, for Engelbert Humperdinck on Wednesday. at the beautiful Arcada Theater in St. Charles. You know, he's 89 years old and still looks incredible. A little soft on the vocals, but when you get to that age, right, you can. What do you expect? What are we going to be like at 89? Probably drooling from a cup, sitting on a lazy boy. You know what I mean? I sure hope not. But he met him afterwards, and he was fantastic. We were supposed to open for him on the Tuesday night. Because of the stuff that happened, we couldn't do that for that particular night. But I want to thank Ron Onesti and Onesti Entertainment for putting that all together. And it was a great event, again, for you people that were there. Very, very cool. Today is Happy Siblings Day. So won't you go out and kiss your siblings and tell them how much you love them. That's right. Good Friday. So remember, even if you come to Chicago Prime Steakhouse, even though it's a steakhouse, they got great fish. They got great other food you can eat as well on Good Friday tonight at Chicago Prime Steakhouse. That's an 8 o'clock hit. Me and my good buddy Double T, Tony Toto. All right. So Spinal Tap. You remember the movie, folks? I remember it. It was fantastic. And they're doing another one. Spinal Tap 2 is coming out September 12th. Rob Reiner and all the guys, original guys, be coming back. The 3 original guys, of course, because their drummer keeps blowing up. So I'm excited. I love the first one. I don't know if you guys liked it, but I love Spinal Tap. It was very, very cool. Let's see who's with us tonight. Okay, there's my good buddy Jack and Michelle Ramondi. What's up, guys? Mel Lennon Reed, how you doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Kathy Ryan Lewis. Hello, Ohio. Hello, Iowa. Kathy Ippolito from Santa Barbara, California. Our good friends from Ohio watching today. Karen Dean. Palm Sunday. That's right. Oh, that's right. It's Palm Sunday. Easter Sunday is next week. Thank you so much for that, Karen. You figure I'd figure that out. Ryan Lewis, I hope you're doing well. Daryl Armenstaub, brother, the professor. Holy roly, Joey. Great seeing you and Lefty last night. What a great time. The general is in the house. Robert Provenzano. Erica, thank you so much. Great seeing you. And there's my jumping Jerry Jams. Great time. Hope you guys can hear me and everything is good. We had some technical difficulties. You know, we had Verizon Infinity come out and put some new wires backstairs for our Wi-Fi. My wife having no problem, but we had a little problem when we first started today. But it seems like everything is still good, and I'm glad you guys are joining us today. Again, coming up about 12:35, my good buddy Michael Terson from Industrial Drive. He's fantastic. Got a lot of stuff. Great seeing Gina last night. Carol and everybody, Debbie and everybody, thank you guys for coming out. Mike, it was just great seeing the people there and enjoying a great night. Dennis from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Donald, the coach, is in the house. Oh, Marion, please, Donald, I hope Marion's feeling better. She's in the hospital now with pneumonia. Oh, my God. Our prayers go out to our good friend Marion out there and my good buddy Donald, the number one Mike Ditka impersonator, the coach. Mike, give my best to Marion. All right, so what else do we talk about? We talk about everything on this show. And we have different guests on, usually Wednesdays and Fridays. And Tuesday, of course, we have Twisted Tuesday with Carol Brandolino. And then Thursday, Laura Ocean. Now, she'll be making her comeback very soon because of the surgery. She's been out of commission, at least live. But she's still doing fantastic for everybody that keeps to that. Now, she already finished all her rehab here at home. Today, she starts her first rehab at the hospital 3 days a week. But she's way ahead of her recovery, according to the doctors, and she's just doing fantastic. There's Michael, my good buddy Michael. I hope you're doing well, my good friend. That's right, from Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repair needs, go to crashchampions.com. Let's get another sponsor, folks. Now it's the real estate season. Buying and selling your home, no problem. Don't just call her when you're ready to buy or sell. Contact her when you're considering buying or selling. She's your forever agent. That's Mary Grievous. That's M. Grievous at StarkRE.com. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. She's available with buyers, sellers, for sale by owners, and expired listings. Give her a call at 630-688-1725 and tell her Tony O sent you. Also, she runs NTD Vacations with Richie from Seventh Heaven. If you're looking to travel anywhere, give them a call. 2-for-1 phone call. It's that simple. And pretty soon we'll be announcing the brand new 2026 Chicago Music Cruise. We know Seventh Heaven will be there. We know Tony Ocean and the Main Event Band will be there. So we'll be hopefully in January. We'll have a date very, very shortly, and we'll be doing it again in January of 2026 this time, because I know a lot of people didn't want to jump on March because, some of the airfare was almost just as expensive as the cruise itself. But in January, it will be a lot better. So we're excited about that. All right. You know what? There's so many crazy things that happen different parts of the world. There's a sleeping contest in Spain. They have a contest who can sleep the best for 20 minutes and you win $1,000. How come they don't come up with this stuff here in the United States of America? Here in our greatest country in the world. Well, at least now it is. But it's always been the greatest country in the world. But what I mean, you never find any of this kind of stuff. Like, for instance, Iceland. I never even realized that because I love a travel station in the history. I love just the adventures and stuff like that. Did you guys know that in Iceland, Iceland is the only country in the world that has no mosquitoes? No mosquitoes. See, you learn a lot of stuff here at Chicago. At Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. The dire wolves are back. You know how much I love animals. They're finally bringing the wolves back, and the dire wolf is back. Who's been extinct for a long time. So they're back, and I'm excited about that. Anything to do with animals, I go crazy for. And guys, Beatle fans out there, I know there's a lot of you out there. If you guys remember, 62 years ago today, Stu Sutcliffe, the original bass player for the Beatles. That's right. When they first started out, it was Pete Best on drums, Stu on bass, John, Paul, and George. And before they got rid of Stu, actually died 62 years ago. He was a good-looking guy, and I guess a lot of the jealous kids back then, the guys are a little jealous, and they beat him up after a show, kicked him to death. He died of a brain hemorrhage. The great Stu Sutcliffe. I would be wondering, I know he quit the band too because he didn't want to do it, but I would be wondering if the Beatles were still going to be the Beatles, if they still had Stu and Pete Best as a drummer. We had Joe Catafio on 2 days ago, and he was promoting his new Magical Mystery Tour, where he's taking a whole bunch of people to England and Liverpool to go see all the Beatles sites. He didn't think the band would still be the same if Ringo didn't join the band. But it would be interesting to see what would have happened with that. Absolutely. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. My good buddy Michael Tarson coming on at about 12:35. Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest American actors of all time. I love Jack. It's an interesting story. He found out that his sister was actually his mother after she died. And that only happened not only to Jack Nicholson, but it also happened to Bobby Darin. His mother died, and his sister raised him when he was a kid. But his whole life, he thought that his sister was his mother, and it wasn't. And imagine finding that out. I mean, obviously, if your mother was still alive, it's one thing. But finding out after she died that your sister, it was really a mother, man, it's just really weird. And, Jack Nicholson, but you can find out those weird stories, especially with a lot of different people. It's very interesting. Very cool. Chicago Cubs, looking good this year. The Chicago White Sox. You know how much we all love the Crosstown Classic. It's going to happen, the Chicago Cubs versus the White Sox in Sox Park on July 25th. 3:00 game. I don't know how many people go to that, but I know people love watching the Cubs against the Sox. So I don't know. I think the Cubs usually win every year, but like I said, I don't follow the Cubs or the Sox. I follow my New York Yankees, who are in first place. Aaron Judd with another grand slam yesterday, beating the Boston Red Sox. So we're excited. I love it. I hope, the Yankees always do good, right? And they make the playoffs, but I hope they do better. I hope they get some good pitching this year. So far, so good. And we'll see what happens with that. Interesting stuff. All right, what do we got here? Speaking of baseball, Roberto Clemente, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, of course, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, getting the sports confused. The teams. Anyway, of course, he passed away. And when he passed away years ago, they always had a mural of the great Roberto Clemente at the Pittsburgh Pirates stadium. Well, I guess their family's pretty upset right now because they painted over it with an alcohol ad. Jesus Christ. It's Roberto Clemente. He's one of the greatest Pittsburgh Pirates ever, one of the greatest baseball players ever. And because of advertising, they're going to use that wall for alcohol sales or whatever it is. They could at least take that mural and try to put it somewhere else and put something up there to show respect to Roberto Clemente, one of the greatest baseball players of a time. And it's sad, but right now everybody's just talking about money, money, money. That's all it is, folks. Money, money, money. Speaking of money, how about becoming your own bank? You want to do that? I'll tell you a great way to do it with Imperialux. That's right. Imagine putting your money to work for you, becoming your own bank, and making your dream retirement a reality with guaranteed lifetime income. Wendy Thompson and Craig Coughlin will help you create personal pensions, grow your wealth, secure your legacy. It's never too late to start. Take charge of your financial future today. Give them a call at 630-890-1213 or book them on Calendly for a free consultation and start building the retirement you deserve. That's Imperialux, becoming your own bank. Call them. 630-890-1213 and tell them Tony O sent you. We always, all our sponsors, folks, and I don't plug them just because they're sponsors to the show. I plug them because they're going to give you great deals and put you on the right path, whether it's all the sponsors that we have, and I'm so proud to have that. Now, speaking of Ocean's Pit, 5 years, folks. 5 years we've been doing this. It started as a fluke in 2020 in March when the flu hit the world, or some people call it the pandemic, some people call it the flu. But anyway, so like we were only down 2 weeks. That's it. A lot of the places that I was working at never closed. They stayed open. They put tents out. They did whatever they did. So I was in the backyard one day and I said, let's just tell the story how I went from, all the rock bands I was in, and then turned into Tony Ocean. And now this has been my full-time career for 35 years. And we did it on a phone, just doing the, and then I got a couple of sponsors, Joe Solozzi Edelson, or Joe Solozzi became our sponsor. And then all of a sudden, Ace Hardware, my good buddy Raffaello, who's been sponsoring us now for 5 years. But we're going to be celebrating a 5-year anniversary of Ocean's Pit Live. Now, we do a lot of live remotes. We haven't done one in a long time. Usually on a Thursday, me and Laura do it. But we're going to do one, folks. I want you to write down this date, because it's going to happen Wednesday, May 7th. Wednesday, May 7th. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to do a live remote, but it's going to be at nighttime from 6 to 8. It'll be a 2-hour live remote, and we're going to do it live at one of my favorite places in Schaumburg. It's called the Village Tavern. It's always crowded, great food, and they're known for their famous chicken fingers. There's lines out the door at the Village Tavern if you've never been there, folks. So we're going to do it there, and the owners are kind enough to give you free chicken fingers and fries just for the Ocean's Pit viewers. So you got to get there early. It's from 6 to 8. You can come right from work. Laura Ocean will be there, of course. Carol Brandolino. We've got a whole bunch of sponsors, special guests. We'll be stopping by, some old guests that were on the show. And we're going to do a live remote, but there's not that much room for tables. And if not, you're going to end up standing around the bar. If you've been to the Village Tavern, you see what I'm talking about. But write down the date, Wednesday, May 7th. And I'm also be giving away some free cocktails. That's right. Some of you lucky people will be getting some free cocktails as well. So that is May 7th at the beautiful Village Tavern in Schaumburg, celebrating 5-year anniversary for Ocean's Pit. Tomorrow night is a private event at the Shea Paul Hotel in Arlington Heights. It's a wedding we're doing. But then Sunday, like I said, we're back by Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy for Sinatra Sunday. That's a 3:30 hit. Get this. In this crazy world, I wish they would do more for the veterans. You know how much I always plug the veterans and our military and fighting for our country and making it great again. What I love about it is they need to do more for the veterans. And what they also need to do more for is our homeless. In the United States alone, we're on track of a new world record for the homeless. 7,772,000 homeless people in the United States of America. Mind you, we're in the greatest country in the world, and we still have all these homeless. I wish they can do something to help. Some of them probably just don't want to work. Some of them can't work. You know what it's like. You see those people on the street, especially downtown. You know, we went to help the homeless a few months back, handing out clothes and handing out food. And a lot of times, what they were asking for is wipes. That's what they wanted: hand sanitizers and wipes, more than food and clothing because they had so much of it. But we need to do something for the homeless because it's very, very important. And that's something they need to take care of. Another thing they need to take care of, folks: 6 million men struggle from silent uh, mental health issues. That's 6 million men. Some people don't even know they have it. Some people don't know where to go. Some people are scared. Some people, who do they turn to? Something they need to work on. It's something they have to fix. Dave Antonelli, what's up, buddy? Buddy, I'll see you tonight, buddy. Mary, I hope you're doing well. That time did go super fast, didn't it? Absolutely. Go Yankees. There's my buddy Jerry Jams. Yeah, I heard about the plane crash. Boca Raton plane crash killed 2 people in Florida. Sad we're getting all these plane crashes going on. But you know what? I'm not afraid that if I go on an airplane, it is what it is. I might slip in the tub, or you never know what it is. People say we're not going to fly. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Take advantage. But mental health, we got to make sure we help that. And ladies out there that use lipstick every day, I don't know if the women out there, and probably the younger kids do, the younger generation do, the young girls using lipstick every day, folks. It causes a problem over here. It could lead to, they got cadmium element inside. Their stomach tumors. It can add to kidney, liver problems. So this is lipstick. Right now we're learning so much shit that's bad for you. Everything is bad for you. Patrice, former Chicago Honey Bear, is in the house. Patrice, I hope you're doing well. Just in about another 5-10 minutes or so, folks, Mike Turson from Industrial Drive will be joining us. There is my good buddy Vince Amore. You mentioned Festa Italiana accepting sponsors. I'm looking to entertain. If I can entertain, I'll get you a sponsor. See how that works there, Vince? And good luck on the Vince voted you're on the round 2 of the best chef, right? Local chef. So congratulations to Vince Amore. Richard Hamlin, what's up, brother? Let's get another sponsor in before we bring up Mike, because I don't want to interrupt him while he's doing his part of the show. It's time for landscaping in your homes. Let's go to Jack Vena Landscaping, folks. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They offer plant design service and installation. They've been servicing the North Shore for over 50 years. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. Call my buddy Tommy at 847-432-5266 and tell him Tony O sent you. Sign up now, because now it's the time to get the gardening and getting your backyard looking good. We got a new, we ordered a new lining for our pool because an animal got in there and ripped it all up, and headache. But it's going to be good, and I can't wait to get the pool going again and having the parties at the house, because you know how much I love doing that, spending all day at the pool, because I work nights, so I can do that. It's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, Monday through Friday at noon. Let's get to another quick story, folks. And you know what? Listen to this. I mean, it's like, like with football, this last football season, with some of the referees, ever since they got involved with draft picks and all that, it seems like they got to be the fix is in. And everything. Nobody can do anything fair and square anymore. Look at this. This is from the Las Vegas Review. For the first time ever, the Nevada Gaming Commission Control Board has recommended that a horse trainer receive penalty for a role in illegally injecting his horse with cocaine. Nobody just wants to win the regular way with cocaine. This is what the horse has. Injected with cocaine. Unbelievable. Hey, a lot of crickets out there. Not a word. The stock market went up. 2 days of crying and complaining when it dipped, but it's back up again. And I think it's going to get even better, man. So just, everything's going to take some time now. Everything's going to take some time. We have a new regime in. So let's just give them some time. Joanne, I hope you're doing well. It's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. I'm having a good time. And I hope you guys this weekend go out and support. We got a live entertainment. The horse is probably going to win by a nose. Oh, Richard, that's a good one, brother. Let's get some dates. I'll give you some more dates coming up. You know, we work Wednesday through Fridays, 5 days a week. We work as much as we can. We work so much, and I want to thank all the clubs and people that come out and see the shows. Next week, we'll be at Bellanote on the 17th with my good buddy Dave Calderone, a beautiful place in Lisle, Illinois on the 17th. On the 19th, we're returning to Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy, the Arcada, with the main event band, Tony Toto, Danny Raimondi, Jerry Jams. No, I'm sorry, Tony Toto, Jerry Jams, and Daryl Armanstad. The professor will be joining us. So that's Saturday on the 19th, oshows.com. Get tickets. On the 24th of April at Positano's in Oak Brook, the return of Lisa P. from Florida. And, of course, Jerry Jams, too, which did it. Jerry did his first show with us in 3 weeks. Oh, he did the week on the cruise with us, and he took some time off. So, Jerry, nice job last night, buddy. On the 26th of April, we'll be returning to Norton's in Highland Park. Now, usually we play there 2 or 3 times a year, but this time I can only give them one date to Richie, and we're going to be there Saturday on the 26th. Ocean's Rat Pack, tribute to Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. will be at the Piazza in Aurora, Naperville on the 27th. That is an afternoon 3 o'clock show, folks. And don't forget my Tony Ocean and Friends show at the Arcada Display and Speeder, on November 9th. Full band, and it's going to be great. A lot of great guests are going to be joining us. So look for that on November 9th. Tickets are already on sale, oshows.com. And we're going to be in Lake Geneva in May. 2 nights in May. First of all, on the 21st of May, we'll be at the Getaway, the French Country Inn, on a Wednesday night, just kicking off the summer and spring festive affairs. And then we got 4 more shows there in the summer outside. But then we'll be at the wonderful Thirsty Parrot in Lake Como on the 25th of May with Double T, Tony Toto, and Danny Raimondi on saxophone. And it's a Sunday before the holidays, so come on out there. It's from 2 to 5. You know, it's love, Lake Geneva, Lake Como. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. We're excited. And back at Rosario's in Roselle on April 30th, me and Double T. All right. So let's get right to the JRC Ace Hardware Minute. That's right. Brought to you by the JRC Ace Hardwares. The store. That's right. All the stores. Norris Plains, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. Today's weather is for Friday, April 11th. It's 47 degrees out there right now. Feels like it's 42. The humidity is 48%, and the winds are 8 miles an hour. I've seen some people out there fishing this morning when I took Zoe to the park for his walk. And then I got my haircut today from Trico Hair. So, yeah, they were fishing out there, but still with the wind right now. Little bad. That is your Ace Minute, brought to you by JRC Ace Hardware Stores, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. All right, so let's bring up my guest. This gentleman I only met briefly. We, of course, on the Chicago Music Cruise, not only did we have Tony Ocean, the main event band, we had my other band called Mojo's Jukebox, Johnny and Marty and Dan Dillon, and it was a lot of fun. And then Mikey was kind enough to come on the cruise and play a couple songs with us at all the shows that we did. He's got a band called Industrial Drive with Marty Hitzman from Mojo's Jukebox, and he's got an incredible boy, this guy's he puts on a lot of hats. What this guy does. Well, I did a public address announcements for the Chicago Cubs from 2000 to 2005 to 2008. He also did it for the Chicago Wolves from 1999 to 2002, and then did it again in 2017. Working for an auto magazine. He's a superintendent of marketing for Buffalo Grove Park District. That's what he's doing right now. He was also a village trustee from 2011 to 2015, and the list goes on and on. So let's bring him on. He's been waiting very patiently. Let's make sure we get him here. Let's see. Come on, baby. Kick in. Here we go. Going over. There he is. Oh, we lost him. Well, then we had the same problem with Joe Catafio yesterday. Hold on. We got to get Mike on in just a second here. Here we go. There he is. Michael, are you there? Oh, lost you again. We're trying to get Michael on here, folks. I'm sorry. Hold on. There he is. Michael, stay where you are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? You can hear me.
Yeah, can
I
you
can
hear
see
me?
you. You can see me. I can hear you, brother. Thanks for being
All
here,
right.
pal. What's going on? And where are you at
Thanks,
right now in that office of yours?
thanks, thanks for having me. I am here in my office at the Buffalo
Where?
Grove Park District. You made me sound like I work hard but you're the hardest working man. I'm listening to you rattle off all these shows Wednesday through Sunday, and I feel
Yeah.
lazy. I'm doing 2 shows this month.
Not lazy. Yeah, well,
I blame
that's
Marty.
okay though. But do you see? Yeah, I know, but you're also doing so many different things. And like I said, let's just start. Michael, first of all, Tierson, if I'm pronouncing it right. What is that? What nationality is that?
It's actually Turson. It's like person, but with a
Tierson.
T.
I'm
But let
sorry.
me tell you
Okay.
something.
All
That's
right.
okay. Of all the people who have mispronounced my name, Tony, you're like the 8,000th and 5th. So every day, no one gets my
I
name right. That's all right.
I get the same thing. Okay, so what nationality is that?
So my family is Jewish. I'm kind of half
Okay.
Russian, half Polish, and I was so
All right.
excited when you thought it was Good Friday that you were going to get to be
Yeah.
corrected by a bad Jew on when Good Friday
Yeah.
is. But then one of your one of your viewers
Yeah.
posted in the comments, and you
I'm
saw it.
complete. I'm lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's Palm Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter. Right. Well, wait. Why not have a Jewish guy here on Easter? I think it would be kind of cool. There you go.
Right?
Michael.
Listen, if
So
this
where were
goes
you
well,
born, buddy?
I'm hoping I make the cut for the anniversary show still.
Oh, absolutely. Got you and Marty got to stop by at the anniversary show. Absolutely. Michael, where were you born, buddy?
I was born in Chicago. I have lived in the Chicago area my entire life. Early years, I lived in unincorporated Des Plaines near Maine East High School in Lutheran General. My parents were divorced when I was really young. In fact, I don't even have any recollection of them being married, but they lived like 5 blocks apart, which was great because I could
Yeah.
kind of float back and forth easily. They got along. It was wonderful. And then in high school, I lived with my dad by then. My sophomore year of high school, my dad and my stepmom moved, and I went to Buffalo Grove High School. And
Okay.
if anybody would like to psychologically, mess with your kids, move them in November of their sophomore year of high school. It's so easy to switch high schools in the middle of your sophomore year, right around
Oh
Thanksgiving.
my God.
Thanks for having no friends in your new school. It'll be great.
See that?
So
Yeah, that had to be difficult. And
you know
right,
what?
and new friend.
It was, but I think it helped toughen me up a little bit and kind of forced me to meet new people and kind of reinvent myself. Even back then, when I was at Maine East, I was involved with music still. I was in band, but it wasn't my passion. I was more into sports. And then when I switched high schools, I learned that by the time you get into your junior year or approaching your junior year, kids aren't really interested in a new kid joining the team. They kind of got their team set, and they don't want anyone's roster spot getting bumped. So
Right.
I realized that was going to be like running up the down escalator, trying to play sports at my new school.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't like I was a great athlete, and they're like, "Oh, we got to take this guy,"
Correct.
So, I got more into music. I played drums for the show choir, and that was kind of like my first taste of playing playing the drum set a little bit, and not just the snare drum or the timpani or the bells or
A
whatever.
real drum. Michael,
Yeah,
who influenced you? Was anybody in your family a musician, or was it Ringo or Alex Van
actually,
Halen? Who was it?
yeah, I have actually a pretty accomplished musician in my family. And I was very influenced by him at a young age. So my uncle Harlan, he's a blues guy, and
Okay.
he's on Lonnie Brooks's, I think, his first album. If it's not his first
Cool.
album, one of his first albums called Bayou
Yeah.
Lightning. And Harlan still plays at Rose's Lounge on Thursday nights, and he plays with all these different blues artists. He toured the world with many different blues artists: Otis Rush, Lonnie Brooks back in the day, to name a few. And so he's, I think he was even nominated for a Grammy. And but he's my dad's brother, and He's in his 70s, and he's still out there playing music, teaches at Old Town School of Music, and he was very influential. I had a teacher.
What about like a superstar, a famous musician? Who was the first? I mean, let me guess. I could be wrong, but was it Neil Peart that you just went crazy when you heard Neil play? Is that it, or was it Alex Van Halen? Who was it?
So I wasn't a big Rush fan. I've seen them live, and
Okay.
so let me preface this by saying Neil's one of the best drummers of all time, and to see him live was just an amazing experience. But I was never a big Rush fan. I was not a big 70s rock, hard rock fan. I was more into 80s alternative bands like Duran Duran,
Okay.
The Cure, Depeche Mode,
Right.
kind of a wide, and but even like some of the 80s rock stuff like Journey
Yeah.
and REO Speedwagon, Fleetwood Mac. I love Barry Manilow. I've
Yeah.
always had a very wide range of musical tastes, and when it came to music I listened to and musicians that influenced me, um, Duran Duran was probably the most influential band for me. They're still my favorite band. Their drummer Roger Taylor. I wouldn't
Fantastic.
say he's one of the best drummers in the world, but very good and very innovative. When Duran Duran split up for a little bit in the '80s, and the Power Station had a
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
and Arcadia was
Mhm.
the other project. The drummer
Yeah.
for Power Station was Tony Thompson from Chic, unbelievable
Wow.
drummer. Uh,
Unbelievable. And then Robert Palmer, of course, Power
yeah,
Station. And you know what? I liked Duran Duran, especially when they hit. You think about it, MTV when they first came out. Good looking guys. They had some great videos,
yeah,
girls on film, Rio and all that. And then I I was happy with Andy Taylor when he went solo. I seen him a couple times solo, and it was like more rock, you know what I was.
yeah.
But you know, you got to keep Duran for what they did. Uh, Great music, but they at that time though, Michael, those bands, a lot of them that you met, they were a lot of the electronic drums at that time,
Sure,
correct?
sure. I couldn't afford electronic drums. I had to
Well,
try
did
and
you like
emulate.
that, Mike?
You know,
Did you like
at the
that?
time, I don't think that I was knowledgeable or educated enough to be, to think critically on that. I loved the
Yeah.
music. I remember, putting the headphones on and trying to emulate those songs on an acoustic drum set and just doing what I could. As I got, older and started playing in bands myself, I actually bought an electronic set once and I hated it. I love that
Okay.
you could make the drums make any sounds you wanted. And the
Right.
mesh heads even had a little bit of an authentic feel, but the cymbals were horrible.
Yeah.
And there on anything electronic, there's a little bit of a delay. Even
Yeah.
if even if they say the human ear can't keep up with it, but I felt playing it just wasn't in the pocket the same way those acoustic drums are.
Right, right. Well, Mike, you're looking at some of your stuff that you've been doing and you have done. Let's
Mhm.
give me a little example now. You were public announcement address for the Cubs from 2005, 2008. What was something like you would be doing? What was something you would do for that particular thing that you were doing?
So if you were at the game, you heard my voice. Now batting, the first baseman, number 25, Derek Lee. Or now starting
Very
in goal
cool.
for the Wolves. If you were
Yeah.
at the game in the stadium, I was the voice in the stadium. And my first job out of college, I went to school for radio, and I worked at a
Okay.
station in DeKalb. I still say it's the best $6 an hour I ever made in my life. And I wanted to be either a radio announcer or a TV newscaster. I was fortunate. I mentioned earlier that I played drums for the show choir at Buffalo Grove High School. So
Yeah.
one of my classmates that was in the show choir was Wayne Messmer's stepdaughter,
Okay. Sure.
and Wayne and Kathleen Messmer would be at all of our shows and go on all of our overnight competition journeys and stuff like that. So I was fortunate enough that I got to know Wayne Messmer back in the '80s very well, and I kept in touch with him. And I after high school, I went to college for a little bit. I quit school. I was DJ at Walter Payton's nightclubs in the
Sure.
90s. I started in
Yeah.
late '89 when I was 19. I DJ'd at 34s and America's Bar and Pacific Club, the Acapulco Bar. in Elk
Yes, the
Grove,
great places, great places.
Studebaker's.
Yeah.
And I did that I worked for Walter Payton for about 7 years. And towards the end of that, I decided I need to get back in school. I'm not going to be able to do this forever. But I kept in touch with Wayne Messmer, and he knew what I was doing. He knew I got on the radio. And when the Wolves formed in '94, I sent him a letter. He sent me, I still have the rejection letter. He sent me the nicest rejection letter I ever got in my life. They weren't looking for anyone. And but then I saw him at a Cubs game a few years later, and the Wolves were looking for someone. So Wayne got me in with the Wolves, and then eventually he got me in with the Cubs. And then things change. Sports is a very volatile, cutthroat business. John McDonough hired me at the Cubs, and John McDonough went to the Blackhawks. And the person who came in, for whatever reason, I wasn't his guy, and I got kind of pushed out. Right. But it was a great experience, to say I was the Cubs announcer for 4 years is,
it's very cool. And then, of course, you did it with the Wolves too, which is. Were you fans? Are you a Cub fan?
I always tell people, I was a huge Cubs fan. I grew up a huge Cubs fan. My whole basement was Cubs. I had a pool table with a Cubs lamp over it and a blue felt. Like I was the biggest Cubs fan you'll ever find. In fact, when I got the job with the Cubs, my dad said to me, "Did you show him a picture of your basement?" And I said to my dad, "No," because I didn't want to scare him that I was like some super fan that he was hiring. So I was always a huge sports fan. I was a hockey fan. Loved the Blackhawks growing up. Billy Gardner was my favorite player, and then I got to work. We
were just with Dennis Savard last night. Very good friend of mine, and he comes out to the gigs. There were some great Chicago teams. They're not as great anymore, but that's cool to have that under your belt.
Sports is in your blood. People love sports. So I always tell people, if you spend too much time following your team, if you feel like as a fan you're too devoted. It's taking time away from your family or work. Go work for the team. It will suck the fan right out of you. It's a harsh business. People are mean. They're not nice. So the Wolves was a very different experience than the Cubs. I did it for a long time. I loved it. Minor league sports is a little different than Major League Baseball. And you get to see players as they're developing before they get to the NHL. And I still have players in the NHL that I still follow that I saw play in the minors when I was working for the Wolves.
That's pretty cool, man. Sports stuff, auto magazine. What'd you do for an auto magazine? Were you a writer?
So, when you are a DJ who quits college, who goes back and makes the best $6 an hour he ever made in radio, and then the radio station you work for gets bought and everybody gets fired. I got fired on the air. There was a song playing and they came in and said, "Hey, we just bought the station. You're all fired." And I said, "Well, there's 2 minutes left on this song. Do you want me to play the next song?" He said, "Nope, just get out."
Wait, so Michael, the question is, what was the song? Do you remember?
I don't remember the song. It may have been Black Hole Sun, which would have been so appropriate.
Highway to Hell or something. Yeah, right.
But, my point being, at the time, I didn't have a lot of career direction. I had this degree in communications. I had this broadcasting experience, but I didn't have much. And so I kind of stumbled around in different sales jobs. So I worked for Auto Trader magazine for a little bit, and I learned actually a lot about sales from my dad. But I also learned a lot about sales working in radio. And when I worked in sports, working for someone like John McDonough, who builds brands and is credited for, building the Cubs brand when the Cubs were terrible. He's considered a marketing genius. And I paid attention. I kind of watched what he did and how he did it, asked him questions. I had access to a guy who really knows his stuff. And so I kind of parlayed that into different jobs. And so I ended up at Auto Trader. I was there for a couple of years. It was a horrible company to work for, but I did well. And then I landed here at the Park District, and this was the perfect fit for me. I grew up in the community. I was a camp counselor here in high
Yeah.
school. And I'm selling recreational opportunities to a community that wants to have fun and wants to do things and has beautiful, beautiful parks. I run, we print a catalog every season. We have a website, we have social media, we have all these ways to push out information or tell the story that the Park District is doing to the community. So I oversee the department that does that. I have great people on my team, and I have great coworkers. It's an environment. And I talked about how sports could be toxic,
Sure.
and different companies are. I wasn't crazy about my organization when I was selling advertising. This organization has the best culture I've ever experienced. It's just I look forward to coming to work every day. It's like playing a gig almost.
It's like playing a gig.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up? I mean, you were in the city of Chicago, and then you went to Buffalo Grove. Was there a big culture shock there?
I went from Des Plaines,
Okay,
really
to
to
Buffalo Grove. Okay,
But yeah, it was very different because in the 80s and even still today, Maine East was very culturally diverse.
sure.
And in the 80s, Buffalo Grove was very white. There was not a lot of ethnic diversity. Now there is.
Yeah,
But back then there wasn't. So there was a little bit of culture shock with that. And
sure.
the median income of families in those two areas was different.
Yeah,
So people had more money in this area, and with more money, comes different personalities. When you're painting with a broad brush, and generally speaking. So yeah,
right.
it took some getting used to kind of assimilate to this different area. And that I struggled with that a little bit when I was young, to be honest.
Yeah, it's got to be tough now, doing everything you're doing and being a family man. Do you have a big family, Michael?
I really don't. I don't have a big family. My son is 21 in a couple weeks. He goes to Marquette University, and which is
Very
nice having him
cool.
close. I do go up there every once in a while, at least a couple times a month to take him out to dinner or hang out with him, but try not to cramp his style when he's away at college as well. And my mom lives in Northbrook, and so I have her close by. Her and her husband are in Northbrook, and my dad and my stepmom live in Naples, Florida now. So I try and get down to Naples and take my son Jack with me when I go down to Naples. We're going in May. But no, I don't have a big family. And my extended family, I have a lot of when you do a lot of things and you're in entertainment, as you know,
Yes,
you meet
yes.
a lot of people and you make friends, and they're kind of like Marty. We mentioned Marty Hitzman. He's become a very important person in my life since he's been
Yeah,
in my band for
yeah,
over a year now. And
yeah.
I go to his house when he has a Super Bowl party, or we go
Marty
out to
or
dinner
something.
sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah,
um,
Marty's a great guy, great personality, good sense of humor, always a lot of fun. Michael here from Industrial Drive, superintendent of Buffalo Grove Park District. That's got to be. But Michael, through the years, the kids have changed from what you're seeing. The kids that are out there hanging out. I mean, what's the difference between the kids nowadays compared to when we were kids?
honestly, I don't know. I think that without getting too in the weeds on, parenting
Yes,
and things of that nature,
yes.
if I had to sum it up, it's the participation trophy generation kind of morphed into the helicopter parent generation. Whereas when I was a kid, I don't think my parents knew where I was for 8 hours of
Yeah,
the
mine
day.
too.
I
Exactly.
got on
They
my
didn't care.
bike. I got on my bike and I went somewhere. I played baseball down at the school with my friends or whatever. And then when the sun was going down, be home before dark.
You had to be
Be home
home.
by time for dinner.
When the street lights came on, you had to be home. Absolutely. We're going to take a little short break, folks. My good buddy Michael's here. Another sponsor here, folks. And of course, when you're talking about some great companies to work for, and we were talking about everything here. What about windows and sidings? It's that time of year, and if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right with my good buddy Louis Pipe. Some airtight windows. That's right, folks. Airtight windows windows and sidings. If you're looking for new windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty, quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. Service Chicagoland for 35 years. Do it right with Airtight windows. Call Louis Pipes at 708-5000 and tell him Tony O sent you. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. My good buddy Michael from Industrial Drive. Michael, let's talk briefly, of course. I like this thing when you were a public speaker, TED Talk, pushing the fun out of youth sports. I thought that was so cool. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about that whole thing.
So I went to a conference years ago, and I saw a session. A guy named Nihai did a session on doing your own TED Talk. And I wasn't even really familiar with what a TED Talk was, but I learned in his session. And I immediately thought to myself, here I've had all these jobs in sports, and I was a high school soccer coach, and I played sports, and now I got a kid who plays sports. So I looked at sports from all these different perspectives and lenses. And the one thing that I kind of always came back to was adult behavior in sports. Specifically youth sports. If you go to a youth sport, I don't care what the sport is, baseball, soccer, hockey, basketball, whatever, pick your sport. You don't have to go far or wait long to see a parent behaving poorly in the stands of a youth sports game. But even at Wolves games or Cubs games, you see grown adults behaving badly.
Sure.
So I won't give any spoiler alerts on my TED Talk, because it's on YouTube. If you Google or go to YouTube and search "sucking the fun out of youth sports," you will. I think there's like 20,000 views on it. You can see the TED Talk. And I kind of drill down and talk about these behaviors and why, and ask the question, why did they happen? Why do we go to Tina's ballet show when she's a kid and sit calmly and quietly in the audience, no matter whether she messes up or not?
Good point.
But at Timmy's baseball game, we shout and we scream and we call the umpire, use the F word and all this crazy stuff. You're absolutely right about that, and I never understood that. And you see them all the time. And sometimes it's even the moms; it's not just the dads anymore. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
It's brutal. Absolutely. But Michael, you remember too, though, when we were kids, you played good. That's how you made the team. It doesn't seem like that with kids now. Now you have to play these kids, correct?
Well, it depends on what level you're talking about. There's different levels of youth sports. So recreation leagues are different from travel leagues, and those are different than school, whether it's middle school or high school age team sports where you got to try out to make the team. A lot of travel teams you got to try out to make the team. For example, my son played AA travel hockey. There's AAA, which is an even harder level to make. So, but I will say this, recreation leagues, I think there's a place for everybody. So if you're not a great athlete and you can't make a travel team, or maybe you're a great athlete, but you don't want to play competitively, or you don't want to devote your whole life to sports. I think one of the big differences is that when I was a kid, I could play 3 sports during a school year and nobody said boo about it. Now you kind of have to specialize in the one sport. They don't even let you play all 3 sports. They want you to train all year for the one sport you focus on. And I don't agree with that. So I think there's a lane for everybody. And I think the kid who's either not a good athlete, especially at a young age, or just learning a sport, I think rec leagues where everybody plays and it's, equal time for everybody, there's a place for that. And those are good. And then there's a place for kids who are better athletes and more competitive or want to play more competitively. There's a lane for that too. So I'm good with that.
Well, you know what? Good. Now we talked about your stuff. Let's talk about real fast. I know you went on was this your first cruise, the Chicago Music Cruise?
Oh no, it's probably my 30th cruise.
What you should like hotel. What do you like about cruises? A lot of people are afraid of them. They want to look out the window. I love them too. They want to look out the window. If they don't see land, they kind of freak out. But Michael, from your experiences, I mean, you love doing it. Why?
I'll tell you why I love cruise. Some people love when they go on vacation, they want to sightsee and they want an itinerary of everything they're doing for that day every 15 minutes and plan the whole thing out. I'm the
Sure.
opposite. I don't want to plan anything. I just want to wake up, see where the day takes me. And if I wake up and I want to sit in the sun and listen to some music or read a book, I can do that on a cruise. If I
Yeah.
want to go see a show, I can do that. If I want to have a drink,
Correct.
if I want to eat, if I want to exercise, anything you on that ship, you could go ice skating if you wanted. I
Yes.
mean, literally anything you can
Yeah.
think of to do is you can do. And
Yeah.
if you're one of those people who wants an itinerary and wants to go on excursions and wants to sightsee and see the world or whatever, you can do that too. So I think the cruise is the perfect vacation for anybody, but especially if you're with a group of people like your family where everybody has some different interests. You don't
Sure.
have to all do the same thing. You can come together every day for dinner. You sit at the same table every night for dinner and catch up and have your time together. And you can do things together or not. I just think it's the perfect opportunity to relax and dictate how you want your relaxation to go.
And you get to see some great sights. That makes a lot of sense. My good buddy Mike from Industrial Drive is on the show with us, folks. We got a minute or two. So, Mike, let's give me real fast Industrial Drive. If they want, there you go. If they want to, what kind of music would they see when they go out and see Industrial Drive? What are they going to hear?
All right. It's the most eclectic variety of rock music from the 70s, even late 60s a little bit, to the early 2000s that any band out there does. We do Sister Golden Hair and White Room by Cream, and we do Duran Duran, and we do the Foo Fighters and Audio Slave and Stone Temple Pilots and Muse and everything in between. It's very heavy 80s and 90s. IndustrialDrive.net is our website. You can see our list of songs on there and our schedule. Tomorrow night, we're out in Shorewood, which is in the Joliet area. And then in 2 weeks, we're in Palatine. We're all over the entire Chicagoland area all summer. It's a really good band. I've been in crappy bands. I know what crappy bands sound like. I thought my band was good when I was in a crappy band. And then when I finally was in a good band, I realized, oh no, that was not a good band.
That was not a good band. It's almost like the Grateful Dead fans. After they stop doing drugs, they go, boy, that band really sucked. You know what I mean? Oh, God, the dog's barking. Anyway, Michael's with us, Industrial Drive. Make sure you check him out. A great guy. We're running out of time here, folks, but we appreciate and Mike, it was great meeting you and your lovely wife. And I hope we can do some other stuff together. Mike, I got to have you on the show again and as a co-host. I want to have you because some of the stuff that would come out, I think, because some of the topics we'll talk about, and I'd like to get you back on again. Maybe have you and Marty on at the same time, and we'll co-host an hour, and we'll just come up with topics, and we'll just shoot the shit, and that's what you're supposed to do. Michael, thank you so much. Don't forget the band. Pardon me?
That's a lot of egos in the room at once. I'm just warning you.
That's okay. I let everybody speak. I let everybody have a good time, and that's why we get along as much as we can. But Michael, it was great meeting you, brother.
Sure. Make one quick plug? Because I know you have a loyal following. You have a cult following, for God's sakes.
God bless.
So God bless. A lot of your followers have no idea about my band. So what I want to put out to your fans. You can email me, you can message through the website, Facebook, whatever. If you are coming to an Industrial Drive show and you saw this podcast with me with Tony Ocean, let me know you're coming. Let me know your t-shirt size. I will give you a free Industrial Drive t-shirt for the Tony Ocean fans who come see Industrial Drive.
Now that's very cool, man. Yeah. You guys, you know that? Yeah, that's fantastic, man. You can private message them. You on Facebook, Michael?
I'm on Facebook. Industrial Drive is on Facebook. We have a band page. I just created a band group, so it's Industrial Drive fans. I learned that if you don't pay for the advertising, Facebook doesn't let your posts get seen. If it's like a business page. So I created this fan group, which is just a social group, and then people see the post. So like our fan group, like the page. Send me a message if you're coming. I'll bring you a t-shirt.
That's fantastic. Mike, last question. Greatest drummer ever.
That's
one person.
I don't know if I can give you one because, like,
Give me
the
two.
the modern era is so
Okay.
different than the back in the day. So obviously, Buddy Rich back in the
Yeah.
day, I think was the best ever.
And we speaking of, we had Greg Potter on, who's now in the Buddy Rich band because he's dating Kathy Rich. So Buddy Rich is old school. Who would you have in new school?
So like new school, I would probably say Danny Carey, from Tool, and I would love to see if I could bring Buddy Rich back to life, what he would do playing with Tool,
Yeah.
And so,
that would be very cool.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, that would be awesome. One last question, because I got to ask every drummer: Ringo Starr, overrated or underrated?
I don't know the answer to that either.
Left-handed drummer left-handed playing right-handed.
I have a lot of respect for Ringo. I love the Beatles, and I have the utmost respect for the Beatles. Ringo's style of drumming is not my favorite for even back in that day. But I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and they make a great argument that he was the perfect style for that band. But I still would love to hear the Beatles with, I don't know, a drummer. I'm trying to think of a drummer who I would love to have heard play the Beatles, but someone a little more, I don't know the word I'm looking for. So I'm kind of Switzerland on that a little bit. I would lean towards, I'm not a huge Ringo fan. I do think he is overrated. Even if you love Ringo and the Beatles, even if you think he was the greatest.
He's a little overrated.
When I see these lists of the greatest drummers of all time that come out, and Ringo's in the top 5 or top 10, that to me, no. He technically is not that good.
See, that's what I mean. I try to ask all the musicians. Absolutely.
You can't look at Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich and put a Ringo Starr in the same breath.
I got it.
Drummers today you couldn't put in the same breath with those guys either.
Absolutely. You got a point there. It is Ocean's Pit. Let us show about big things. We're over the hour, so let's do this real fast while I still have Mike here real fast. Just birthdays for Friday, April 11th. My good buddy Joe, Vicky, my godmother's husband Joe, happy birthday. Marie Osmond turned 64 today. Dennis Quaid, 71. Hugh Hefner celebrating a birthday. Steven Seagal is 72 years old. John Madden, one of my favorites from the NFL. Sam Elliott, one of my favorite actors. Wayne Newton is 83 years old, and the great Western star Ward Bond, who used to play all the great movies with the great John Wayne. Guys, tonight we will be at Chicago Prime Steakhouse. It's an 8 o'clock hit with Double T, Tony Toto. Tomorrow at the Shea Paul Hotel in Arlington Heights. And Sunday, Ronald Estes Club Arcada Speakeasy for Sinatra Sunday. Guys, let's thank our good friends, of course, Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Tune up that lawnmower. Spring tune-up started $105 plus parts. They're your neighborhood powerhouse. Take advantage of the auto key programming at all their stores. They program car cut keys up to 50% less than dealership. Visit the Helpful Hub to speak to a certified team member and download the Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of your points, coupons, and special offers. Ace Hardware, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. Be kind to one another, man, because it's a tough world out there. It's very short. Enjoy life. Go see my buddy Mike in Industrial Drive. Check out his page. Tell him you're coming, and you're going to get that free T-shirt. Wow, cool of a deal is that? Can't beat it. It's a great T-shirt, too. And, folks, so remember the great words of Sir Richard Starkey, Ringo Starr. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. We need them. Nick Sahajas, the piano man, is going to take us out for the #1 Billy Joel tribute act in Chicago. Nick, take us out. Thank you, Michael. You have a great day. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Monday, same time, same station. Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. And remember, Wednesday, May 7th, 5-year anniversary live remote from the Village Tavern in Schaumburg. Free chicken fingers and French fries. There's a line out the door when they serve this food. It's going to be great. I hope you guys can join the live remote. Guys, God bless you. Nick, take us out. Have a great weekend.
Time to go. It's the end of the show. See you later from town.
God bless you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Be good, brother. God bless you guys.